Good evening, humans. TyrannosaurusMoth here, and welcome to another episode of PlastiCombat. This is the series where I take a look at two or more figures that are either the same character or same archetype and help you decide which one is right for you. So tonight, to close out 2023, I figured it was appropriate to close it with the great 1/12 skeleton war of 2023. We've gotten a lot of 1/12 skeletons. I'm sure there's more than what I have here, but the four major ones, at least for me, have been the Kulu World, Boss Fight Studios Epic Hacks, Fwoosh Toys Yokai Skeleton, and Redemption Skeletons. So without further ado, let's do this.
Round one, fight!
Round one is aesthetics, and you know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but we have four very different looking skeletons here. And for like more in-depth breakdowns, I do have reviews for all four of these figures up, and those will be linked in the description below. But looking at them next to each other and kind of deciding like what is best for whatever you want to use them for is kind of what we're here to do. And I'm gonna say, I'm not gonna go down the line, I'm just gonna kind of rank it, I guess, kind of how I see it. And you know, if you want a like 100% like anatomical skeleton, like looks realistic, you cannot beat Boss Fight. They just absolutely nailed it here. This is basically kind of what you would see in a science class or something like that. Like they kind of nailed everything with the proportions and the look of it, and there's not really any stylization, and that's not a knock against it. That is a, you know, a plus. That is, you know, if you want skeletons that look like actual skeletons, either littered about your scene or you know, kind of fighting your your other figures, then you can't beat this. It looks exactly as it should. That is the skeleton. Moving on, I think the next in line definitely comes out to be the Fwoosh Toys Yokai Skeleton, the Bone Brawler. Again, the proportions are very, very nice. A little more stylization in the paint, but it does have the ribs that you can actually see through. They're all separated and stuff like that. And you know, despite the heavy paint, I mean, it definitely has a very skeleton appearance. The skull is definitely more of a kind of Ray Harryhausen sort of approach, which is awesome. I mean, it looks great, and you know, definitely slightly more stylized, but I think you can definitely get away with this with more figure lines, especially because they are a little more stylized. So yeah, that would be that. Then we get to the Kulu World, and cannot fully go off the one that I got. I got eyes, again, because of the reference that it was to Skeleton Warriors, and you know, beyond that, obviously the skull is not going to match an actual human skull. But beyond that, in terms of the functionality of it, you know, the proportions are close. They're definitely, these are definitely longer proportions than we normally see. The ribs are not separated as they are on the two we just talked about. And, you know, there's actually some good bone color. So I'd say that's probably definitely a plus here. And yeah, just they do a good job. Some of the joints are obvious. They are kind of on all of these. Again, they're hidden best on the Boss Fight. But you know, in the next section, we'll kind of get to where this one really shines. So there's that. And then finally, we have the Redemption Skeletons. And this is the most heavily stylized of the group. Also the shortest, and also, I guess, odd proportions all around. Definitely shorter legs, longer arms, very almost monkey-like. But you know, it does look, it definitely looks nice. It's very chunky, so obviously not very realistic, not the right number of ribs, etc. So, you know, definitely a few more liberties being taken here with this one. So highly stylized. So if you're doing like crazier looking figures, then yeah, this is definitely going to fit in with what you're doing, or you can work it in there, or it can function as a monster. So there's that. So again, depending on your level of stylization, I guess it's kind of the name of the game for this round. It will depend on which one works for you. But I think if you're just looking for straight up like anatomical skeleton, looks realistic, then you can't beat Boss Fight.
Round two, fight!
Round two is articulation, and while there are a lot of similar ideas going on here for the engineering, you really couldn't get much more different in the application. And you know, in the last round, I think I kind of messed up a little bit by going from like my recommendation to the one that I guess is least recommended, or my the furthest from my preference, but we're just gonna roll with it. So let's keep going that direction. And I think for here with the articulation, again, if you want the full breakdowns, go check the individual reviews, but you cannot beat the range that you get with the Kulu World. Like, I mean, there's double joints here at the elbows and the knees. You don't get that on any of the other ones. The only place you really see the swivel hinge swivel is here at the shoulders and at the hips. And that is prevalent in all of these. But because of that, like, you get insane range. Like, you get a Y pose out of the legs. I mean, that is insane. Not only that, but I mean, again, can fully bend the legs, fully bend the arms. It's just, you just don't get better range. It does suffer at the head because, as you can see, and it actually pops out super easy too. There's just that little joint there, and yeah, the head just does not look up at all, so it definitely suffers there. You can get down, but yeah, they drop the ball there. But aside from that, another different philosophy going on here is that we get a bendy wire spine, and that allows us to just go wherever the hell we want to go. You can't beat that. It doesn't break the sculpt at all. Like, you know, that's just insanity, just crazy range, and you kind of can't beat that. It's also very, very solid feeling. So articulation is definitely all Kulu World here. But going on from that, I think a second place is absolutely Fwoosh Toys. They definitely do their homework. They know what they're doing here. And even though we have single joints, we do have great range. We're past 90 on the elbows. Not great. They're not folded in half, but you know, knees also just past 90. But everything is that swivel hinge swivel. So yeah, we're getting good range. We're getting good like splits and stuff like that. But you know, also the second, probably the first best crunch. I mean, you can fold this guy in half, and you can see there. So you got two of the joints, and that's really where this one's helped out. So really good there. And of course, we get almost all the way up because we do have the joints here at the base of the neck, and they allowed enough clearance under that skull, and you can look down. So some good range there as well. Just very nice, like everything you'd want out of a standard figure that wasn't a skeleton. So that's good there. And then we move on to the redemption skeletons, and actually I think this and boss fight are tied, and there's a few reasons for that. I mean, because of the odd proportions to this one, you kind of get a little more freedom. You get some nice look up and down, and because of that, where the joint is, again, you can kind of fold him in half, so you get that nice arch back, and you get your swivel. The knees and elbows definitely suffer because you're not quite hitting 90 because of the way the bones are sculpted, and they're so chunky. So one of its main visual kind of appeals, I think, kind of turns against it there, which is sad. But you also get these big wide feet that allow for a nice base. So as you can see, that crazy kick pose I had him in absolutely kind of made this one nice and fun. It's definitely very fun articulation. And then going to the boss fight, get to stand there. You know, again, all very, very good, very serviceable, but just the least amount of range. And you know, because the head doesn't really look up, there's no second joint here, and you know, not a crazy amount of down. Pretty much everything's single jointed here, but you do get 90 at the arms because of the way it's sculpted, so that's good. Our splits are also definitely like perfect. One thing the redemption skeletons can't do, I don't know why I forgot we're double jointed here at the knees, so that's my bad. And so yeah, we actually do get some good range, but we definitely suffer here at the midsection for this because we get barely any crunch, and that's just kind of sad. No arch back whatsoever. So really the spine is the weak point for the boss fight, and you know, it's a little sad, especially because the legs are so good and the arms are so nice and serviceable. But yeah, pretty much that's the ranking. So I think for if you want range and like crazy poses, you're going for Kulu World. So yeah.
Final round, fight!
And for round 3, our final round, we are looking at scaling. And you know, for that, I mean, obviously humans are various different heights. I mean, there's like 1/12 is just kind of a, you know, using a 6-foot person as the kind of easy benchmark and just an easy way to scale things and kind of just make it all make sense. But beyond that, you know, in terms of how it's going to look with the rest of your lines, again, I have reviewed all of these, so there are full scaling sections for all of these, but I'm going to try to do kind of a small one here. But just looking at them next to each other, we can see very plainly Kulu World is absolutely the tallest. Then we get the Fwoosh Toys, then Boss Fight, and then Redemption Skeletons, which is kind of just barely 1/12, especially considering the proportions. It's the oddball of the group. But again, if you're dealing with more stylized figures, some more independent stuff, this might work great for you. Again, the looks of the Boss Fight are definitely very, very like the most accurate. However, in terms of the scaling, this is very much true 1/12. So you're going to get this best with probably your imports. So your SH Figuarts, your Mayfex, all of that. And then going into the Fwoosh Toys, that's a little bit more of a kind of mid-ground. And, you know, I think this is definitely, you know, kind of it'll blend in with a little bit more than probably the others in terms of size. Certainly if you have them 1-to-1, but if you're using like background skeletons, Boss Fight's going to be your go-to because it just looks the most accurate. And then despite the stylization, you're probably going to get a lot of like head-to-head comparisons here with Kulu World. So again, there's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of variation. It really depends on what you're going for with scaling. But let's take a moment, and I'm going to try and bunch these guys together as best I can, condense them. And we're going to do a really quick size comparison section, kind of like I generally do in my videos. And you can just kind of see them with some various lines and make the decision for yourself. So let's do that now. So that'll do it for scaling, and I originally wasn't going to throw any 1/10 scale figures in there, but I did want to include wrestling figures just because it's something I cover a lot, and it's something I know that a lot of you watching probably also collect. But yeah, definitely if you're looking for 1/10 skeleton, Storm's pretty much got that one. The Storm collectible skeletons pretty much have that covered. But in terms of 1/6, I mean, there's a lot of variety here.
Finish him!
So in conclusion, the winner here really is, honestly, this sounds sappy as hell, but all of us, because we have so many options for 1/12 skeletons. I mean, that again, there's a lot of variety here, and I think in terms of skeletons in particular, there's a lot of different use cases. So it's really hard to say like which one is the definitive 1/12 skeleton. I mean, again, if you want just like anatomically correct, just like it's a skeleton, you have no doubt about it, the most like real photo real as it were, it's absolutely Boss Fight. But you know, if you're looking for a great all-arounder, I think you got Fwoosh Toys. If you want the most fun to pose and just play with, absolutely Redemption Skeletons. I've posed and played with that figure probably more than any of these combined. And you know, in terms of Kulu World, just unrivaled articulation and some of the cool like ideas they have for various ones in that line. And I love the bendy wire spine. That's just something that none of the others have done, including Storm Collectibles. So yeah, there's just so much good stuff here, and you kind of can't go wrong. So I really hope that through this video, I had helped you decide which one kind of works for your particular needs for a 1/12 skeleton. That's kind of the point here, and it's why I tried to kind of reiterate that time and time again here, because again, this isn't one with a clear winner, and that's what made this one extra exciting to do. was that, you know, it's more looking at the finer points and kind of, you know, well, what do you want out of this, and you know, what displays are you gonna have, and what photos you're gonna be taking with this. There's a call for all of these, and honestly, I think having a couple of each would definitely benefit anyone's collection. But that's me, and again, everyone's budget, everyone's needs are gonna be completely different here, and yeah, so there's a lot to be said here. So at the end of the day, I just hope that this helped you in some way, and if it did, you know, let me know in the comments below. Leave a like. This is, you know, the least takes not even 2 seconds, takes a single heartbeat, and you know, definitely helps me out a lot. And I'm really trying to get more, you know, I've been doing some double videos going on at this point in the year, or days with two videos going up. So just trying to make that mark, you know, trying to get over quadruple digit subs here and kind of, you know, make some waves. So yeah, I hope I helped you out, and yeah, hope you find the skeleton for you. Again, I will have links to all my videos for the individual reviews so you can see the finer points. I will have links to where you can pick these up as well, under those as well. So again, hope this just makes this process as easy as possible for you who is watching this. And yeah, at the end of the day, just hope to see you back. And ultimately, really, I just hope you're well. I hope that all of your toy dreams come true. And most importantly, I hope that you and yours stay weird, simians.